Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I greet you all according to your time and locations you'll be watching this video. Yes, my dear viewers, I am back again with another update. So guys, I have a video here I would like we all to watch. But before then, if you're meeting my channel for the very first time, you're highly welcome. Please kindly do well to like, share and subscribe. Leave your thought on the comment section. Let us know what you think about this video and I will see you towards the end.
Trending. With reactions trailing the submission by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu requesting the Election Tribunal to dismiss the petition seeking to nullify his election on the grounds that he did not secure 25% of lawful votes cast in the Federal Capital Territory. The president, in his final written address against the two petitions filed by the candidates of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, and his counterpart of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, warned that nullifying the February 25th elections on the grounds that he did not secure 25% of the lawful votes cast in the Federal Capital Territory could lead to absurdity, chaos, anarchy, and alteration of the very intention of the legislature. Tinubu also stated that the two petitions seeking the nullification of his victory are not familiar with the country's electoral laws. Rufai, I'm coming to you, but let me take Carlos' tweet because this is actually the bone of contention because as you recall, our sister publication This Day put out a tweet, with that statement, and it's garnered more than 2.5 million comments. Well, Carlo wrote, the president of the largest economy in Africa is telling foreign investors that if the courts in a legal ruling in his own nation remove him from office because he failed to meet the conditions set by his nation to become president, there will be anarchy and chaos. In essence, if he is allowed to break the law and remain in office in contravention of the legal rules of his nation against the oath of office he took, there will be no chaos and anarchy. Over to you, Rufai. I'll take. People became lawyers on Twitter yesterday, giving their own different interpretation. Dr. Bati, I heard your interpretation this morning. Rufai.
For me, it is the court, the Presidential Election Tribunal, that will rule on the interpretation of the 25%.
Yes.
Whatever they come out with, for or against, I don't think interpretation of the laws of the country will cause any anarchy.
Absolutely not.
Fanning the embers and everything. I know that statement was from the depositions of his lawyer, President Tinubu's lawyer, Wole Olanipekun, because they are having their final depositions in before they make a judgment on it. It is for him to make his case. You can say he was making his case while he was arguing, but it is the court that will rule, and whatever the court rule, there's not going to be anarchy. I've heard a lot of people argue and said, oh, yes, the court of public opinion and all of that, it reads the body and temperature of the nation. The law is the law. If it rules for or against, the law will reign supreme. And it's not happened before, blah, 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 blah. Those are just conversations. Because it is still the courts that will rule. All we can call on the judiciary to do is to stand tall. Across board. Yes, opinions are divided for and against and all of that. But we need to be able to build a country where the rule of law will stand tall. Because we don't do it for ourselves. We also do it for the way other countries see us. And when they see we have a weak judiciary system, what happens? That investors will not want to come. So the judiciary should also know that they are not only ruling based on the law now. They are also ruling based on what will become the outlook of Nigeria. So they will be the one to determine this 25%. We've never had a time where we've tested it. People can only make other inferences, like, they've started a part of the constitution that says, treat it as long as though it's this, it's that, and all of that. You can have all the legal jargons. But it is when the court rules, conjunctively or disjunctively, you can look at the narrative. All we should now do is not to heat up the polity. Let us wait for the court to rule. And let's also forget, after the court rules, there's also a Supreme Court there.
Yes, absolutely.
After this judgment, let us remember the fact that Nigeria will continue to exist. And Nigeria will continue to grow. But the question is, how do we see ourselves after things like this? That's what matters the most.
Yes.
And in building a country, it is a collective work.
Right.
Albeit the British coupled this country together in 1914. They started the process in 1906 after coupling the Lagos colony and the Southern Protectorate. And 1914 they add the Northern Protectorate to it. You can say all of that, but the truth has to be said. Nigeria will continue to move.
Absolutely.
After this judgment, after the consequence of this judgment.
Yeah.
But all we should do is try as much as possible to deepen the rule of law and make fairness and justice be the order of the day. The court will rule based on the evidence in front of it, and it's already making its decisions. When it makes it, Nigerians will know.
All right, Dr. Bata, I'd like your interpretation again in terms of what Tinubu's counsel wrote in that final submission. I understand that, anarchy can be interpreted in different ways, but I'll just take one more tweet of people that were trying to clarify Tinubu's win. This is from Pastor Okezie, who wrote, Tinubu got 25% in 29 out of the 36 states and FCT. Atiku got 25% in 21 out of the 36 states and FCT. Peter Obi got 25% in 17 out of the 36 states and FCT. Nigeria has 37 subnational entities, 36 states and FCT. Only President Bola Ahmed Tinubu met this constitutional requirement, 24 out of 36 states and FCT, and having the highest number of votes cast. He was declared winner and returned elected by the constitutional body, aka INEC. What is difficult to understand here? Dr. Abati.
Okay, a number of clarifications. I think people must refrain from reading headlines and from headlines jumping into conclusions. It misleads a lot of people. Because you see a headline in the newspaper, you see chaos, you see anarchy, you just conclude and you start talking. Courts of law don't take their decisions on the basis of public opinion.
You're right.
Even if the judges themselves are members of citizens. They act on the basis of jurisdiction and the rule of law. And at the highest level, the Supreme Court has its own original jurisdiction. And the courts exist also as modulators, as stabilizing forces, even as they discharge their functions under the Constitution. That's number two. Number three is that, the principle in law is that you must hear the arguments from all parties to a matter. In this particular case, you have the PDP going to court with Waziri Atiku Abubakar. You have the Labour Party going to court with Mr. Peter Obi. And if we just collapse what they were asking for, they're saying that Section 134 2B must be read to mean the reference to the Federal Capital Territory means that whoever will become president must score 25% in the Federal Capital Territory. And that Tinubu, having not obtained up to 25%, is not qualified to be president. Now, he got 19% in the Federal Capital Territory. Two, they said the matter in the U.S. District Court, that he had been indicted or convicted, whatever, and because of that, he should be disqualified. Three, one of the issues they raised was about Shetima, his running mate, who they said was a dual candidate, having, been chosen as a senatorial candidate in his home state of Borno. Those were the basic three issues. So they gave their, they filed their defense, they called their witnesses, total of 40 in law. And the court gave counsel to Tinubu and the APC to submit their written address within 10 days. And that's precisely what, Wole Olanipekun, who is lead counsel to the APC and Tinubu group, did. And he just took all those issues raised by, the two major, the petitioners, one by one, and he debunked them. I tried to give a summary earlier on. He said, for example, Section 1342B, cannot be read disjunctively, that it must be read conjunctively. Because to do otherwise is to misinterpret and misrepresent the intention of the framers of the Constitution. The basic principle is, what is the intention of the lawmaker, the framers of the law? What do they intend to say? It's for the court to decide on that. And Olanipekun was saying, provided his own defense, citing Section 3.1, which lists 36 states. Section 299, the petitions amount to a crass abuse of court process, and that, it should be dismissed, it should be disregarded, and that in any case, he is confident that the job of the court right, is to ensure peace, not to cause chaos, not to cause anarchy. And that given precedents that he has cited and all of that, it will amount to, causing chaos and anarchy. But people have taken that in a literal sense.
Yeah, so he
to mean
basically
a
said,
threat.
right.
But it's not a threat.
Right.
So people should go to the written address and read it and understand the context instead of just saying, oh, Tinubu wants to cause chaos, he wants to cause anarchy.
So basically,
that's not what
the
is
job of the judiciary is not to cause anarchy, correct? That's really the bottom line.
Yeah, not to add more tension to the environment. And Olanipekwe said, you need to see the context in which you use that phrase. And I don't agree with those people who think that it's a threat. A council, before the court of law cannot go in front of their lordships and threaten them. That is unacceptable.
Well, all right.